right? What do you
Mm-hmm.
do for yourself to nourish yourself, like
To
Mm-hmm.
to
rejuvenate,
rejuvenate,
nurture.
and recharge?
Um, I mean, there are certain things that I do just for myself, but I also find like rejuvenation in my family, in my kids. Sabi ko nga,
Mhm.
sabi ko din sa isa kong friend, one of our managers, she was really feeling down the other day. I said, why don't you cup your son's cheeks? They're so cute and they're so like chubby, and like just for a moment, just behold your son and find joy in that moment. I often do that like with my kids,
Yes.
especially when I'm tired or I'm having, a bad day. I find a lot of reason to keep going with our children because there's nothing they can do about this, but there is something that we can do about it, right? What was that movie? I can't remember. There was a dad, right, in a concentration camp, and he was with his son.
Life is
But
Life is
beautiful.
beautiful.
life is beautiful, diba? I mean, if
Pets.
that parent can do it and still have a beautiful childhood for her son, even
Yeah.
in the midst of all of that terror and violence, sabi ko, I can do it with
Yeah.
my kids too, 'di ba?
I'm
So,
getting teary-eyed remembering that movie because
'di
yeah,
ba?
it's so
'Di
powerful.
ba? I mean, of course, all of us we're going through so much stress right now, but I think what has helped me a lot is also remembering that other people have done it. Like my grandparents have lived through World War II. They've lived through, the Great Depression. And yet if they had given up, then we wouldn't be here. So in a sense, it's our turn, it's our responsibility as the adults in this
Nice.
generation to do it
Nice.
for our children. And for me, that's super powerful.
Oh,
So that's one. But apart from that, I journal. I dump a lot of my feelings, my thoughts. I've been journaling since I was a teenager, and that always helps me. Even though I'll never read my earlier journals because they're so cringy, but just just the process of being
Letting
able
it out. Yeah.
to draw out your feelings and your thoughts and to behold them in your hands so they don't overwhelm you.
mm,
It's very healing for me. And of course, I read the Bible. I often find that the Lord speaks to me during those times when I am really at a loss. I find a lot of solace and comfort. I'm going through the book of Psalms now, and so there's a lot of comfort in that. And then sleep. Sleep is so important. Work from home is great because we don't have to commute, and it's been proven to be the most underrated way of boosting your immune system.
mm.
So I'm trying to get like good quality sleep all the time, and our kids also in bed by 9 o'clock, whatever it takes, ganyan. And finally, just movement. Move in whatever way that you can. Um, yeah.
Yeah.
Grabe, listening to her, like you have all that, that you check all of the things that you need to do to, to be
Yeah.
successful, to
Yeah.
thrive, and no wonder you are at that point. And
And I'm so excited to recap this because
yeah,
everything that you've said is based on science.
yeah,
There's like scientific proof on everything that you've said. And what I love about your resolute hope is that it is the answer to learned helplessness. And a lot of people can be helpless at this time. But what is
Mhm.
that resolute hope? And I love it because um, I read recently in a book, and the authors wrote down that heroic people, are able to conjure hope.
Mhm.
Conjure hope. You're like, there's no hope, but you're able to do that. And I think that's why your people are soldiering on. And that's why, everyone is passionate about let's do this for everyone. And it's because of you guys and your leadership. It's evident in how you're expressing right now that kind of hope that that times are bad, but the best is yet to come. People need that. You
Mhm.
truly inspire hope. People in organizations need leaders who inspire that a leader they can trust, of course. And obviously, you're a leader who's very compassionate, that you even care about your employee not being okay, and having to do something about that. So yes, you check all the boxes. And it's great listening to someone with such insight. Now, I love the word also that you used, behold. You used it twice, and it's such a beautiful word, and it's biblical as well, right? And I would want to ask, when you are doing that, when you behold your the moment, your children, cupping your children's faces and their cheeks, where did you learn how to do that? How did you know, hey, this is something that would work? How did
Ah,
you find that out?
I'm not sure, but I mean, the only thing that comes to mind is my own failure. Now, there was a season in my life when I was so busy. My personality also is that I'm easily distracted. That at a certain point, I think it was my sister or my children who were saying to me that, Mom, look at me. And then she like kind of held my face because I was on my phone, I was on my computer, and all of that. So it was really my own failure that made me realize that I wasn't fully
Present.
present for my children. And since then, I mean, I still fall. I'm still very much distracted. Sometimes I think maybe I have adult ADD. I don't know. Uh, not diagnosed. But because my sister and my children made me realize that, so it's always on my mind that I have to be fully present for them and to behold them, and be with them in that moment, even if it's just 30 seconds, or even if it's just 2 minutes. Ganon. But it's a constant struggle for me to really focus and to put my full attention on someone or something. Yeah.
Mhm. So sobrang natutuwa ako kasi that thing that you're doing, the moment to behold your kids, and the moment that you're in, is actually an act of savoring. So
Mhm.
you're savoring the moment, and positive psychology talks about that, na you savor the moment because it prolongs happiness, and it
Mhm.
helps with people with ADHD, because that's also my go-to. I love savoring, whether it's food, whether it's my children, whether it's holding my husband's hand or hugging him.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
it's really wonderful. Now, maybe I could ask also, just to do a little bit of recap. If you look at Anna, from an objective point of view, from a distance, and you see her, what's strong about her? What's good about her? What lessons can you learn from her?
Gosh. I mean, this isn't from me, but my husband always used to say and keep saying up to now, Anna is a trier. She might not be the best at everything, or she might not know something, but she will always kind of try. She will always give it a go. Uh, I guess. I mean, I'm not the best planner. I'm not the best kind of in terms of like I have everything laid out and everything has been, thought of, all the contingencies and whatever. But I'm always the first one to raise my hand. Like even when I was young, one of my teachers would always say I could always rely on her to do the opening prayer, because when nobody else wants to do the opening prayer, she'll do it. So yeah, I think yeah, I'm a trier. When I married my husband, I didn't know how to cook, but my mom actually warned him that, "Are you sure you want to marry her? She can't cook, to save her life." Because I was always in corporate work, that sort of thing. But we spent a year in the US volunteering for Gawad Kalinga, and I had no choice. I had to learn how to cook. I had to learn how to take care of the house and everything. So I guess being a trier opens you up to so many opportunities and learning. that's another thing that I hope we can impart to our children, that they can be lifelong learners even when they're 40, 42, that they'll always want to open their minds and their lives to new things and learn new things. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Inspiring.
Grabe, at the root of it all, I think like it's the courage that's making it work.
Mhm.
You mentioned courage, Kanina, and all of the things that you accomplished. These things that you want to try, and trying takes courage. And
Mhm. Mhm.
as a father, I think that's something I want to focus on with my children.
Yeah. This conversation is really inspiring us as well, because we have faith, although how evident is that in our children's eyes? How do they see that? And I like what you said a while ago about a combination of your mother and your father being reflective and at the same time, action oriented,
Mm-hmm.
to do something. I think that is a very, very good balance, because we sometimes get caught up in the doing, in the
Mm-hmm.
do, no reflection. So
Mm-hmm.
I think that
Or
is a
it can be the reverse. You can all be like reflect, reflect, analysis, paralysis, and you're not doing anything. Wala ka namang output, di ba?
oo. So ang ganda nun. This conversation is inspiring me as well to lead people into, acknowledging how important family is, nurture is in developing, a resilient, strong child. And I know that you said a while ago you tried to find your identity separate from your father's, although I'm sure you're already, confident in the fact that you are your own person and you've made such a name for yourself. And I'm sure that he's so very proud of who you are. And, a lot of us watching on the sidelines are also looking up to you and, admiring what you've done for yourself and for the community and also for your family.
So thank you. Thank you for your
Thank you.
time. Thank you for giving a lot of tips and a lot of yourself for the country also.
Yes.
Hopefully, the watchers or the audience out there, they get to absorb everything kasi ang
Oh,
dami talaga.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
thank you for this time and being so generous.
Yes. Thank you, Anna,
Thank
for
you
this
so much.
conversation. Yes, yes.
Thank you for the opportunity. I mean, I enjoyed it a lot.
And we
I'm
shall
so
see each
glad.
other again. And I'm sure, there's many things that we can do together, on how we can, join forces and create more good, because, there's
Mhm.
more to be done. So
Of course, and so many people need to find something to keep them going, to have that hope, 'di ba? And yeah, I just realized na paano kaya yung mga those na who are not in good family situations, 'di ba? That's why it's also so important na if we reach out to, other people who might not have, a good role models or good fathers or good mothers, and sometimes it only takes like a few days to kind of give them that picture of what is possible for them, especially young people, especially like teenagers who may not have parents who are encouraging,
Mhm.
who are really struggling through the pandemic because they can't go out, they can't have any source of um, kind of respite from
Mm.
from this. So I think it's also so important for us who are in whole relationships to reach out to those who might not have those very healthy relationships as well.
It's a very good example, na parang um there are good families. You can make it into that.
and
So
and thus this show and
yeah.
this interview and this format, that
Yeah.
is actually really the objective of why we're doing this, like
I'll
better
just
I
input.
think it's such an important mission, and I'm so happy that you guys have thought of it na to give hope to people who might not be seeing examples of what's possible, what they can have for their lives, especially young people who grew
Yeah.
up in broken homes or who
Mm,
grew up
mm,
in abusive relationships, that they can
yeah.
actually find a better life or build a better life
Mm.
for them.
That was such a powerful conversation, and it is so inspiring to hear a story from somebody who comes from an environment that usually when we talk about strength, di ba, merong trauma, merong kang difficulty, poverty, challenge na in-overcome. This woman comes from a background wherein you would think, oh, normal yung background. Bakit siya naging strong? Kasi meron ganun mga misconceptions na kapag cloistered ka, sheltered ka, madali ka masaktan, madali ka maging fragile, at saka hindi ka ganun ka-strong. But she is. You heard the words of strength from someone with strong resolve. What I love was her word na resolute. Resolute yung hope in a world that's like this right now.
Ang galing, you talked about nurture, no? And how she was molded and how she was brought up. And that same nurturing was also kind of frightening for me. Because, as she said, she wanted to make a name for herself, and being in the shadow of a really successful father.
Aramon magsaysay awardee father.
Exactly, no? I didn't think that she had it easy. But, she had that courage.
Mm-hmm.
And I love that because it was just to try.
Mm-hmm.
It's something simple. Now, a lot of people have fear because they might not succeed. But if you start with something small, it's easy enough.
Mm-hmm.
And I like that even if it's something small, there was a ripple effect. And as we said, millions of people helped. I love that.
Alam mo, doon, tama yung parenting. Kasi the parents allowed her to find her own identity. And I think that she has grown up in an environment that is safe. Aside from the fact that she grew up in an environment with faith, there was enough nurture for her to say, sige, let me explore. Kasi if you'd see the way that she talked about it, and also how with her kids, di ba, very strong yung exploration. Because I think the nurture of the parents there was that, you're allowed.
Yeah.
You're allowed.
To be able to travel to different parts of the Philippines. And that gave her the exposure. That gave her the exposure to different communities and what they needed and the help they needed. And I think deep inside, when she was starting something, kailangan may mangyari doon eh. Kailangan may gawin ako for that community. So I loved it. I loved the interview.
Doon nahon yung purpose niya, no? Parang seeing what's happening in communities, and of course growing up with a father who started Gawad Kalinga. I think it was that decision, and I think yun yung nangyayari na nagkaroon siya ng meaning. Again, optimistic people have meaning. They have purpose, and they go beyond what their task is, na day to day, ito lang yung trabaho ko, kailangan kong gawin sabi ng nanay ko or sabi ng tatay ko, kailangan kong gawin. It is really purpose beyond themselves, and we can see that in Meloto Wilk, who accepts the things that she can't control, like poverty.
Yeah.
You cannot do anything about that. But there is something that she can do by providing livelihood for so many people, and that's really an inspiring thing.
And it's seen, even in the product, you see it, right? There are Bible verses, there are sayings and inspirational quotes, and I love that.
That strength, honestly, you're really required to see beyond yourself, and that you have to see meaning beyond what is happening. Create things. Kung hindi mo kayang kontrolin, meron kang pwedeng gawin. And if it's just to give hope in a place na walang hope, then do so. And, if you're a parent, expose your children to that kind of mindset, because I really believe na hindi lang po gumising yung isang tao, strong na siya. Hindi. It is also built with experience and exposure.
So, see you again in our next episode. Please like and subscribe, and see you next time. Bye!
Bye!